Greetings from Wisdom Words, a peaceful place to pause and reflect. One story at a time, we examine timeless teachings about life, serenity, and purpose here. So, pause, inhale, and let's get started. The deceit of pursuing. It's odd how much of our lives are spent pursuing stuff. We strive for achievement. We seek love. We strive for recognition, attention, and approval. Furthermore, although chasing can occasionally inspire us, it usually leaves us feeling worn out, nervous, and unhappy all the time. In our minds, we believe that we must seize life by the horns and that we must pursue our goals fiercely. However, the reality is that not everything we desire is intended for us at the very moment we desire it. Sometimes it eludes you more the harder you pursue it. The letting go paradox. It's an odd paradox. The instant you give up chasing, controlling, and forcing, the cosmos frequently begins to deliver things to you naturally at that point. Consider it. It felt different the first time you met someone organically, without pressuring the relationship. It was effortless. It felt natural. It's rarely easy to chase. It is similar to jogging uphill while defying gravity and the wind. Perhaps that is the lesson: life has a rhythm, and attempting to force it would only make it worse. The Flower and the River, a short story. A flower that grew on a river's brink was the subject of a story I once heard. The flower aspired to bloom in a manner not yet achieved. It stretched its leaves, bowed toward the sun, and attempted to drive its roots farther into the stony ground. However, it got more brittle the more it was pressed. The petals twisted, the stem fractured, and the flower nearly died. Then, one morning following a storm, there was a tiny change in the river's current. The ground became softer. The petals were perfectly warmed by the sun. Suddenly, as if it had always been intended, the flower flowered exquisitely without any effort. When you quit chasing, that's what occurs. Naturally, the appropriate conditions, time, and energy come together. Why we continue to pursue? Fear is typically the motivation for chasing. Fear of solitude. A fear of being left behind. Fear of never achieving our goals. We believe we will miss the chance if we don't work hard enough. However, seeking after dread never leads to fulfillment. It causes anxiousness. It raises questions. It makes our hearts tense. Acting out of desire rather than desperation is the only way to genuinely receive what is meant for you. A tale of pursuing love. Michael was a man who pursued a woman he believed to be the one. He attempted to prove himself every day, planned lavish surprises, and texted her non-stop. However, she grew farther away the more he pursued her. He made the decision to stop one day because he was tired and frustrated. He concentrated on his friends, his pastimes, and the little pleasures he had been ignoring. They met at a coffee cafe many months later. The connection felt natural this time. Don't chase. There is no pressure. Just two individuals having fun together. Michael came to the realization that he hadn't lost her by backing off. He had made room for what was supposed to come to him. The patience lesson. It is not passive to be patient. We actively trust that life is more adept at timing than we are. You allow yourself to develop when you stop pushing. You allow people to come to you organically. You allow life to present the appropriate things at the appropriate moment. This has nothing to do with abandoning your aspirations. It's about letting go of the impulse to control every result and having faith in the process. Thought-provoking questions for you. Think for a moment. What are you currently pursuing that may be fleeing as a result of your efforts? In what areas of your life could you take a back seat and let things unfold organically? How would it feel to believe that everything happens for a reason and that what is meant for you will find you? Sometimes the first step to letting go is simply asking these questions. A calm takeaway. The chase is frequently pointless, lonely, and draining. You become present instead of passive when you give up chasing. When your heart was too busy racing, you might have missed opportunities, people, and situations, but now you start to notice them. The reality is straightforward: life will bring you what is meant for you, not through coercion or anxiety, but rather through the organic course of events. You'll finally experience what ease, timing, and alignment really feel like in that flow. The following chapter will discuss how to trust life's timetable and how letting go of control can lead to the opportunities you've been stifling all along. Having faith in life's timing. It's not about doing nothing when you give up chasing. It's about believing that there is a rhythm to the cosmos, life, or whatever you choose to name it that you can't always see. Our society is fixated with speed. We need clarity, solutions, and results immediately. And when things don't happen right away, we start to question if we're doing it correctly. Is this the correct course? The time of life is rarely incorrect, though. It simply differs from the timing that our minds desire. The reasons why timing seems off. Consider a seed that has been sown in the ground. When it reaches the ground, it doesn't immediately sprout. Rain, sunlight, nourishment, and patience are all needed. And it's growing in ways you can't see, even when it appears to be inactive. Our progress, our relationships, and our dreams all function in the same manner. Something is going on underneath the surface even when you can't see it. The issue arises when we attempt to hasten it. To check if the seed is alive, we dig it up. We shake the ground. We exert too much pressure. Additionally, the growth frequently slows or, worse, withers. A tale of patience and timing. Lena was a woman who was desperate for her ideal job. In an effort to make it happen, she applied everywhere, followed up frequently, and pushed herself to the limit. Months went by with no answer. She decided to quit worrying about it since she was burned out and frustrated. She worked on her own projects, took some creative classes, and concentrated on honing her abilities. Then, as if suddenly, she was presented with an even better opportunity than the one she had been pursuing. It was more than just a job, it was a vocation that matched her interests, strengths, and life stage precisely. Lena came to the realization that she was oblivious to the opportunities that were already emerging around her because she was chasing. She made room for what was supposed to come to her by letting go. The part surrender plays. Giving up is not the same as surrendering. It entails giving up trying to influence every result. It's not necessary to know how everything will turn out. Timing doesn't have to be forced. Simply take the steps that are consistent with your values, your development, and your preparation, and let the rest fall into place. Trusting life's process, especially when it seems uncertain, is what it means to surrender. It's realizing that no one else's journey has to be exactly like yours. It involves letting go of the misconception that power equates to success. A tale concerning time and love. Jordan was a man who persistently pursued a person who didn't appear interested. He called, texted, and made continual attempts to establish his worth. He finally stopped. He concentrated on his interests, relationships, and personal development. By accident, they got back in touch months later. The connection felt natural and authentic this time. No proving or chasing. Jordan understood that what was meant for him merely required the proper timing and didn't need to be forced. How to know what's important to you. Things feel effortless when they naturally fit into your life. It's effortless in the sense that it fits, but not effortless in the sense that it requires no effort. Experiences, people, and opportunities specifically designed for you. Arrive when you're prepared. Feel content with your life without having to fight all the time. Provide clarity, happiness, or growth in place of ongoing anxiety or uncertainty. You begin to see these indications when you stop chasing. Introspective questions. Think about this for a moment. What am I pursuing out of urgency or fear? Where could I stop, think about myself, and allow life to happen? What opportunities have I missed because I was too preoccupied with pursuing my perceived goals? Sometimes just taking a step back can make the most change. An important lesson. Timing trust is not a passive one. Active patience is what it is. Without attempting to control what you cannot, it's about learning to do what you can. Life starts to flow in a way that seems aligned, effortless, natural, and correct when you stop pushing for the result. A calm takeaway. Whatever you call it, fate, life, or the cosmos, it is not against you. It just involves waiting for the ideal time for everything to line up. Chasing frequently impairs your vision. It is cleared by surrender. And in that clarity, you finally uncover what was intended for you. In the following chapter, we'll look at how letting go of control over results can lead to unforeseen benefits and how fighting frequently prevents you from getting what you really deserve. The advantages of letting go. One of the most difficult things we will ever have to do is let go. Because it seems like giving up when you let go. It feels like a defeat. It's similar to acknowledging that we can't control everything we desire in life. In actuality, however, letting go does not equate to surrender. It's creating room. Make room for the things that are really meant for you to come. When you let go of your strong attachment to results, people, and plans, you begin to realize the small blessings that you had been too preoccupied to notice. The reasons we can't let go. It feels hazardous, so we resist. It seems like jumping off a cliff without knowing if we'll land when we let go of something we desperately want. I'll lose everything if I let go, fear murmurs. Ironically, though, we frequently push life away when we grasp too firmly. The illusion of control is reassuring. We want to think that we can change reality to our will if we work harder, pursue our goals more, or demonstrate our abilities more. However, reality does not yield to despair. It is surrounded with life. An account of giving up control. Sophie was a woman I used to know. She was constantly pursuing a promotion at work. She overplanned every meeting, stayed up late every night, and was always comparing herself to her colleagues. However, her frustration increased as she pursued more. Then one day she took a step back. She quit working too much. Instead of learning merely for the title, she concentrated on learning for her own personal development. She fostered her abilities, her relationships, and her health. The promotion arrived a few months later, not because she pushed for it but rather because she had readied herself for it. Sophie came to understand that letting go did not equate to failure. It required creating room for achievement in a natural way. The quiet strength of silence. It is not passive to let go. It's intentional quietness. It's having faith that by taking a break, you're letting life align rather than wasting time. Clarity is produced by stillness. Silence makes things possible. What chasing frequently makes us blind to is revealed by stillness. You observe when you stop the chase. Opportunities present themselves. The appropriate individuals come into your life. The correct lessons come to light on their own. And these rewards are frequently greater than anything you could have compelled. A tale concerning time and love. A man named Ethan was there. He continued to pursue a relationship that never seemed to be successful. He called, texted, and made repeated attempts to fix the connection. He finally stopped, exhausted. He concentrated on his interests, relationships, and personal development. He happened to run into someone who felt very different months later. Don't chase. No effort. Just an easy, organic connection. Ethan came to the realization that you don't have to force what is meant for you. It appears when the time is right, when life and you are both prepared. The detachment lesson. Apathy is not the same as detachment. It doesn't imply that you lose interest in your relationships or aspirations. It indicates that you are concerned but not in charge. You follow without coercion. You want it without desperate means. You become more open to life's flow when you let go of results. You begin swimming with the current rather than resisting it. What is really yours finds you in that flow, sometimes in ways you never would have thought possible. Introspective questions. Consider this for a moment. Where am I holding on too strongly in my life? What would happen if I let life develop organically and trusted the process? What blessings might already exist if I just took the time to acknowledge them? The biggest blessings can occasionally be found in the tiniest act of letting go. A crucial realization. Chasing frequently results in tension, disillusionment, and fatigue. Clarity, relaxation, and unanticipated joy come with letting go. You align with what is meant for you the instant you let go of the impulse to control. And life has a way of packing that void with precisely what you need, not necessarily what you desire, but what you actually need in order to develop. A calm takeaway. Whatever you name it, the world, life, or destiny is constantly in motion, constantly aligning, and constantly delivering what is rightfully yours. Give up chasing. Take a step back. Take a breath. and observe how chances, events, and the appropriate people come into your life with ease. We'll discuss how to develop patience and faith in the invisible process in the upcoming chapter, as well as why sometimes the quickest route to your goals is to slow down. The secret is patience. Being patient is more than just a virtue. It's a talent. It's a way of thinking. It's also among the most neglected aspects of discovering what's meant for you. Patience feels awkward in our fast-paced world. We need clarity, connection, and outcomes immediately. However, the reality is that life happens at its own pace. We rarely get the satisfaction we want when we rush it. Patience turns into your anchor when you quit chasing. Instead of pushing, worrying, or resisting, it enables you to remain composed, in control, and open to receiving. Why it's hard to be patient? Because patience feels like waiting, we oppose it. Additionally, waiting may seem like a waste of time. If I'm not moving, I'm failing, our minds tell us. I am losing if I am not pursuing. However, waiting does not equate to doing nothing. Allowing life to mature is the essence of waiting. It's about focusing on the here and now rather than obsessing over the past. Ironically, life frequently moves more quickly when you practice patience, not in terms of speed, but rather in terms of alignment. Naturally, everything starts to come together. A tale of growth and waiting. A man by the name of Ryan was in dire need of a promotion. He pushed relentlessly, followed up, and applied. He was shattered by each rejection. At last, worn out, he took a step back. He concentrated on gaining new abilities, forming connections, and taking pleasure in his everyday existence. A position, not just any job, but one that was ideally matched with his long-term objectives, interests, and strengths, opened up 6 months later. He understood that he would have lost this chance if he had pursued the previous ones. Because of his patience, life had created the ideal environment for him to flourish. The strength of having faith in the process. Trust is the foundation of patience. Have faith in the rhythm of life. Have faith that timing isn't arbitrary. Have faith that you will not miss what is intended for you. It doesn't imply that you wait around. It means you let go of attachment to results and operate with intention. It's similar to sowing a seed. You give it water. You are concerned about it. You keep it safe. However, you do not excavate it daily to see if it is growing. A tale concerning time and love. For months, Samantha had been looking for a relationship. She worried all the time, texted excessively, and became nervous if she didn't hear back. She finally stopped. She concentrated on her interests, personal development, and herself. She met someone organically a few months later. There was no pressure, no chasing, and no expectations. It was an easy connection. She came to see that the universe had been preparing a better, more compatible connection for her all along, while she had been attempting to force love. Ways to develop patience. Being patient is a talent that takes time to master. Breathe. When you're nervous or restless, take deep breaths. Observe, without passing judgment, take note of what is happening around you. Change your focus, pay more attention to meaningful behaviors and personal development than results. Trust, remember that what is intended for you cannot be taken away too soon. Patience eventually develops into a condition of serene preparedness rather than just waiting. Introspective questions. Consider this. Where am I attempting to expedite the process in my life? In what ways may slowing down lead to greater clarity and opportunity? If I trusted my life's timing, what might come naturally? Just posing these queries creates room for patience to develop. The patience lesson. It is not passive to be patient. It's a silent power. It is tenacity. It's the knowledge that timing is rarely incorrect in life. You start to recognize the gifts that were already on their way, quietly, tenderly, and precisely at the right moment, when you learn to wait without fear and to trust without coercion. A calm takeaway. Although the pursuit may seem essential, life doesn't follow our timetable. Being patient allows you to get what is rightfully yours. It enables you to remain focused, composed, and in the moment. Additionally, it guarantees that you will be able to fully receive your blessings without stress, anxiety, or uncertainty when they arrive. In the upcoming chapter, we will discuss how to identify and accept what is meant for you and why the last step in allowing life to align beautifully is to remain patient, open, and tranquil. Identifying and accepting your personal meaning. You've discovered something crucial by now: that continuous pursuit isn't rewarded in life. It rewards alignment, patience, and presence. However, how can you tell if something is really meant for you? How do you experience it, identify it, and accept it without question or hesitation? In this chapter, we will examine that. The alignment signs. First, you must realize that when something is meant for you, it comes naturally. Yes, it takes work, but it doesn't exhaust you like chasing does. Indications that you are meant to have something. Ease, the relationship or circumstance develops organically. Joy, you experience inspiration, curiosity, or excitement rather than ongoing worry. Growth, it helps you move forward in the right directions without making you change who you are. Timing, even if you weren't aware of it, it comes when you're ready. When these indicators appear, it's time to take charge, embrace, and have faith. A tale of alignment in life. A man by the name of David spent years searching for work in several towns. He sought to impose relationships with people and places, took jobs, and moved around a lot. It didn't feel right. He made the decision one year to put an end to his overanalyzing and remain in his hometown, concentrating on the profession he genuinely loved. Without any expectations, he started volunteering, making connections organically, and honing his craft. In a matter of months, he was presented with the ideal opportunity, a position that completely matched his principles, lifestyle, and skill set. David came to the realization that life had given him the ideal opportunity to take a step back and align himself with his passions instead of what he believed he'd needed. The intricacy of moments that were meant to be. The things that are intended for you frequently don't show up with a big bang. They show up in silence. A communication from a surprising source. An accidental meeting that seems significant. An epiphany on a choice you've been having trouble making. Being present enough to notice them is the difficult part. You're too busy to notice if you're constantly chasing. A tale concerning time and love. For years, Anna had hoped for a love relationship. She felt lonely and irritated as she pursued relationships that never seemed right. She eventually ceased her active search. She prioritized her interests, relationships, and personal development. She then found someone who easily shared her ideals and way of life through a mutual friend. There was only organic harmony, no seeking or proving. Since they both showed there at the appropriate time and place, without coercion, she understood that the connection seemed natural. Ways to accept what is meant for you. Acknowledging it is just the beginning. The second is to embrace it, which calls for trust. 1. Move forward fearlessly, don't hesitate because you're worried about losing it. 2. Remain in the moment, give it your all without second-guessing yourself or putting expectations on others. 3. Retain gratitude, be grateful for what you have, despite its imperfections. 4. Have faith in yourself, you are capable of handling this situation and are prepared for it. Your life will no longer feel like a struggle once you accept what is meant for you. It has a flow-like quality. It has a homey atmosphere. Introspective questions. Consider your life right now. When patience might have been more effective, where have you been chasing? Have you missed any of the opportunities that are already here? How can you approach them and welcome them with candor and trust? You start to realize the blessings that are subtly waiting for you when you ask these questions. A tale of reward and surrender. For years, a young woman named Maya sought recognition and approval from others. She felt incomplete and was always comparing herself to other people. She made the decision to back off one day. She nurtured herself, helped her community, and concentrated on her passions. Her work was soon acknowledged, not because she pushed it but rather because she had followed her instincts. Her genuine audience and possibilities came to her organically. Maya discovered that if you stop running, what is meant for you will find its way. The last point to remember. Chasing frequently results in frustration. Alignment results from presence, patience, and letting go. You make room for life to perform its subtle wonders when you stop pushing. The right things will come to you in the right way, at the right time, and with the right people. Have faith in the process. Take note of the signs. When it feels correct, move forward. Above all, keep in mind that the trip is equally as significant as the final destination. Final thoughts. Breathe deeply and picture your existence without the never-ending pursuit. Imagine leading a patient, present, and trustworthy life. Experience the calm that comes from letting life happen to you organically. The universe has a way of sending you precisely what you deserve when you stop chasing it, and it's frequently more than you could have ever dreamed. You're prepared. You deserve it. What is intended for you is already on its way. We appreciate you taking the time to read wisdom words. Share this message with someone who might benefit from it if it spoke to you. Remind yourself to embrace what is yours, trust the timing, and quit chasing. Take care of your heart, be in the moment, and let life happen till the next time.